Alright, students, if you are watching this video first, please go back and watch my range of approaches video for the drawing portfolio. In this video, I'm going to go into the example or exemplar portfolio from 2019. They posted one student's portfolio who made an absolutely perfect score, so a score of 6. Remember, that is super rare, but I wanted to show you what it looks like so you have kind of like a benchmark for your own works. And then, like I mentioned in the last video, the range of approaches section of the portfolio is no longer included in the AP Art portfolio. So the reason that they decided to take that out is, first of all, trying to make 24 different AP level, college level drawings in a year is ridiculous and next to impossible. And then trying to do all of that in a semester, like we do with our block scheduling, is impossible. So they took the first section, the range of approaches section, out of the portfolio, and instead of only submitting 12 pieces, you now submit 15 pieces in that sustained investigation. So you have to be able to investigate it a little bit further than you did in the past. But I do feel like this is a fair change. And also, another reason that they changed it is they felt that the range of approaches section was almost grading the teacher, because you could use teacher assignments in that section. And so if you have a teacher that gives you better assignments that relate to AP better than, say, the next teacher, that's not really a fair evaluation of the student. So do keep in mind that, you know, AP is doing everything that they can to make this as fair and as equal for all students. So I really do like that change. So today what we're going to look at is the selected works section of the student's portfolio. So in the selected works section, this is 5 pieces, and it used to be called quality. So it is this student's best pieces that they made the entire year. And what you do in the drawing and 2D design portfolios is you actually have those pieces physically and you mat them nicely, and then AP sends you a folder portfolio, and you place your pieces in that portfolio. I box them up, I give them to the testing coordinator, and we mail those, and they have to be postmarked by the test date. So make sure that you're getting those pieces in on time, because we have to physically mail those from the school to AP, and then they arrive at AP, and wherever the readers meet this year, it changes every couple years, they will actually unbox your pieces and score them. So if if this sounds like Greek to you, go back to the video where I talk about scoring, and you can see pictures of like the warehouse that is full of portfolios. So that is what happens with this part of your portfolio. All right, so let's get into it. For this student, this is their first piece, and they used watercolor paint, colored pencil, and acrylic paint. For this piece, they used acrylic paint, colored pencil, and ballpoint pen. Then we have colored pencil and acrylic paint. And do keep in mind that in this section, you can double dip. So these 3 pieces that I just showed you, they are actually from their sustained investigation. And then the next pieces that I'm going to show you, no, this is from their sustained investigation as well. I believe one of the pieces in this section, the 5, comes from their range of approaches. You could also take pieces that you made within the last year, and you can include that in this section as well. So if you made something really excellent last school year, it is still recent enough for you to include in your portfolio. You could also take something that you made previously and kind of rework it and make it a little bit better, and that could be included in this section. Just keep in mind that you do have to physically mail it in, so it needs to fit those size specifications that I shared with you. It cannot be smaller than a 9 by 12. If it is, we have to mat it to make it at least 9 by 12. So it's better if it is just, 8.5 by 11, 9 by 12. And then it cannot be larger than, I believe it is 24 by 18, but don't quote me on that. Check the handout that I gave you, because that is the size of the physical, envelope that they give you as a portfolio to put your artwork in. All right, so here is another piece from their this student, sorry, let's get back to that. This is another piece from their sustain investigation. It is a Photoshop piece. And then this piece is from their range of approaches. It's that ebony pencil drawing. And I do think that they did an excellent job of choosing their best 5 pieces. Let's look at the score rationale. So the score rationale says that the first 4 images balance the limited color scheme with excellent execution. All 5 of the selected works use interesting figure-ground relationships to create compelling composition. So that's really the only concept that's new for y'all. So be exploring that idea. What does it look like to have a figure-ground relationship, playing with perspective and making things look three-dimensional or flat by playing with the figure or the actual subject, and then the ground or the background of the image. The figure in image 5 invades the viewer's space with both its proximity and the hand escaping from the picture plane. The background in this work draws the viewer's eye through the effective use of gradation and value, and through the contrast between the distant floating silhouette and the prominent figure in the foreground. All of the works in this portfolio section demonstrate an excellent understanding of drawing through advanced visual concepts that communicate original ideas. The work exhibits well-informed decision-making and intention. All of the scenes depict a restrained blend of the mundane and fantastical. For example, in image 5, aggressive animal heads fuse seamlessly with peaceful human figures, while a smaller, handheld girl points off to the smallest silhouette disappearing into a vortex. Movement within the images is dynamic but controlled, inviting the viewer to explore the complex and sophisticated imagery repeatedly. In image 3, the display of imaginative ideas is clear. The exploration of what it means to be human is expressed in the central figure, who is divided into his biological components: full body, skeleton, circulatory system. All 3 versions of the human are enacting the daily activity of brushing teeth. The use of warm colors inventively articulates the intent of the work while lifting the viewer into the space above the figures. The work shows successful engagement with experimentation and risk taking. Images 1, 2, and 3 mix both media and representation by using a range of mark making and surface treatment. Within the same setting, some areas use more gradual value shifts to create realistic volume, while others use cross-hatching or flat shapes to create more graphic illustrations. Risk taking is evident in image 2, as the pigeons have been created separately and collaged on top of the otherwise singular picture. The birds also break the border of the picture frame, drawing the eye from the one standing still on the booth at the right through to the one flying off the page at the top. In image 4, the space is boldly punctuated by a rhythmic series of graphically flat vertical lines that are reminiscent of architectural background details, but otherwise unrelated to the convincing sense of illusion of space and volume. In image 1, proportion is used confidently to deliberately widen or narrow the faces of the figures. The subtle use of color adds dimension and cements the visual conflict between the mundane and the extraordinary. For example, a barely perceptible shade of blue can be seen in the grayscale clouds, while a light touch of pink is given to the girl in the right with the rosy cheeks. An entire ocean swarming with all kinds of life is squeezed into the fishbowl head of the figure at this bus stop. The surrounding individuals are devoid of any spark of life. They are figuratively dripping with gloom, except for the girl on the right. The central figure alone is elevated to a world of aquatic imagination, demonstrating expressive verve. The technical competence of the work is consistently excellent. That is the key. A broad range of contrasting materials is handled skillfully in all 5 pieces. Watercolor and acrylic paints, colored and graphite pencils, ballpoint and gel pens, and Photoshop drawing materials and media are used effectively to express ideas. So you want to make sure that you are technically skilled and expressing your ideas effectively. And those are all phrases from the scoring rubric. For example, in the street scene, image 1, a variety of layered applications reveal different aspects of the same scene. Watercolor is used proficiently to build the stormy clouds, the bus stop structure, and the crowd of figures. The mass of fish spilling from the sky into the bowl that replaces one man's head is carefully rendered using colored pencil. This shift emphasizes the sensational action within the consistent frame. Acrylic paint is precisely laid in linear clusters and energetic drops to depict the rain falling and ultimately splashing onto the heads of the forlorn group. All right, so that was a lot, but this reader really was enthusiastic in their approval of this section of the student's portfolio. Be sure to tune into my next video where I get into the students' sustained investigation so that we can see all 12 of their pieces and their own commentary on what they were doing, and also the score rationale for that section as well.